everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren and Claude is here. We're at our old filming chair. Yay! We're at our old filming chair. I just wanted to get back to the old style because I was missing this chair. I was missing where you guys could see my Claudie. Yeah, where they could see your beautiful face. Welcome back to the channel, and today I kind of want to talk about what are some of the, hello and welcome back. I know I said that, but in day 17 I really want to talk about how we're going to be answering most of the questions that they're going to ask you when you do your first interview, especially when you do your recruiter screen. Those are some of the main questions that they're going to ask you. And so we'll go into that, only a couple questions because we can go all day on this. And then I'm going to tell you about a couple of books one of the books that I'm reading and another one I'm going to start to crack open and fairly soon. So what are some of the questions that they're going to ask you when you're working with a recruiter or you're working with a hiring manager? What they're going to ask you is, tell me about yourself. And tell me about yourself is just a way for them to show that, one, you can communicate well. And then second is that you give them a rundown of who you are as a person and what you can bring to the role. And that is basically, that's what I take upon what tell me about yourself is. One is who you are as a person, and then what you have done in your past that can relate to the role. Okay, and that's the first thing, tell me about yourself. And then there's always the proverbial, why are you interested in this role? Why this role? And that's just, one, do you show interest in the company? Have you done some homework? Have you done research? Homework research, and what is it about the role that is appealing to you? Are you just looking just for a job, just to have a job? I mean, you could basically say that too, and if it depends on the role. Like if they're looking for someone who can add value or someone who could add to the role, then it's most likely that it's not a good fit for you. So that's why when they say, tell me why here, why now? And that's just, why are you looking for a new role? Tell us about what are the circumstances why you're looking for a new role. And what is it about the job description that really appealed to you? Now, I can honestly say that this one interviewer asked me that, and I just said, look, I'm a solid recruiter. I've been recruiting for over 10 years. And I just laid out everything. And he was like, okay, great. But what is it about the job description? I was like, what the fuck? Did I just not answer the role? He wanted specifics. And so then if that were the case, she should have been like, I would actually like specifics from you. Like, what was it about this job description that really appealed to you? Because I laid it all out for him. I said, hey, I'm looking for this, and this. And I thought that this role had that, and that. So that's what I'm looking for. So there was that. And then, very, very rare do I get, what are your strengths and weaknesses? That is, I think that's an old kind of way of thinking about things. But I have gotten, tell me about some challenges that you face and how you dealt with those. How did you deal with something negative happening on the job? Those are questions that I think that are really relevant as to now, because we're all going to face difficulties in a role or any job that you're at. You're going to have some things will happen to you that will affect how you deal. And so really it's about explaining how, using the STAR method, you lay out the situation, you laid out the task that you took to deal with the situation, and what were some of the actions that you lay out the task, and then you lay out some of the actions that you took to address those tasks, right? And then what was the result of those things, right? I've had experiences where I've dealt with a very new hiring manager who was difficult in the sense that they wanted unicorns. They wanted this ideal candidate. And for the level of pay that we were going to pay them, it was going to be quite difficult to gain that type of experienced person wanting to work at a no-name tech company. So my thing was, I laid out all of the barriers that I was going to face. But these were some of the actions that I took. I explained to the hiring manager what were some of the issues that I was going to face. And I laid out, this is what some of the things that we can do to negate some of those issues. We could, address the job description. We can really kind of, address the job description and make some changes. And then I had to have him be realistic of what we're looking for. And so as a result, that we did find someone who was perfect for the role, had all the number of years of experience we wanted, but they maybe didn't go with the top tier school. They had the experience though. And that was really what counted. So there are ways in which you can set up the situation and explain it. And so that is a huge, tell me about a problem that you face and how you dealt with it, and what are some of the results that how you've dealt with it. And that's kind of like some of the main questions. And it's like, and then, some of them might throw in tell me about like some of the, how do you convince someone to join your office, or so there's a lot of different things that they might ask you. But it always pertains to the job. And I think in order to be successful, you have to always tailor your experience to the role. So if this role is heavy, like they want someone who has huge customer service experience, then you tailor your response to somebody who has like huge customer service experience. So whatever the role is, you tailor your speech or your resume or everything to that specific role, okay? So hopefully I hope that helps. And again, I'm not like super professional at that. I'm still doing learning, making mistakes every single day. But as a recruiter, this is what I looked for when I was interviewing people for technical roles with the companies that I worked with. So I didn't want to go into too much depth because honestly, I just don't have the mental capacity for it. So I am reading a book called Interviewology, and I found this specific woman on. I found her on LinkedIn, and she seems like a very credible person. And I did like, what I saw, she did a lot of ads, and honestly, I checked this book out from the library. I don't buy books anymore. I will check them out at the library. So I did check this book out at the library, and she gives a lot of helpful advice. I want to try to find her about this book. I want to try to find her name because Anna Papalia, and I hope I'm saying this right, Anna Papalia, and she is huge on LinkedIn, and it's called Interviewology: The New Science of Interviewing. And I like how she breaks down the interviews into your four kinds of interviewers. You are let me get this. So there are four types. Interview styles. So you really have to think of yourself, okay, well, what style are you? You hate when there's one little strand that's like caught up in something. So I want to kind of tell you about what she discovered. Well, this is all based on her. This is all really based on her assumptions on what and she has a lot of it is backed up by studies and science and different things like that. So I mean, it could all just really she's used when you're in education, you really want to bring in a lot of like studies behind what you think something is, and then you provide proof and examples, and then you always cite your information. So she's done a really good job of doing that. But she described there are 4 types of people when you interview. You're the charmer, you're the challenger, you're an examiner, or you're a harmonizer. So it's a charmer. It means this person, again, it says what it says. This person uses their instant connectability to charm you and to, yes, they'll answer the questions, but they'll be very personable. They'll be very charming about about answering your questions, and they'll try to, make you get on their side. And then there's a challenger. This is a person who thinks of this as a game, as a game, like I'm a challenge. This is a challenge and I want to win. I want to get this offer. And they think about it like that. They think about it like this is a game. Me interviewing is a game and I want to one up everybody else. And then there's the examiner. And this person likes to kind of think of this as a test. I want to do well on my test. And I want to make sure that I give you the perfect answer. And so that's the examiner. The examiner is like, oh, I want to do well on a test, and I want to have the highest score. And then there's the harmonizer. The harmonizer is like, you know what? I just want to get along with everybody. I want to make sure that this role that I take is good for me, and I want to be in harmony with, if you say something, I want to go, yeah, that's true, and then I give something to kind of support what you just said. So that's the harmonizer. So there are those 4 types of people that she has said are interviewing. And so when I was reading this, I was like, yeah, I can see all these different parts of myself in all these different things. So maybe there's a 5th where there's a person who's like just a adopter. So a person who adopts like all of these different things. So that was one of the books that I read that I thought was just amazing. I mean, it's you've got to get through a lot of her storytelling, and so I kind of just wish that it wasn't so much of her storytelling, but I mean, she has a reason behind it. There's a basis for that. She wants to set up a path so you can follow, and her reasoning behind why she named each one that specific name. So she provides ample proof of her proof on why she believes that this, and I believe this, she's had years of studying and information to kind of back this up, and she does cite a lot of her information. So I definitely believe that she's done some really hard investigation on this, and being a recruiter, you do see these types of people. And then there's there's Brene Brown's Dare to Lead. So that's how you build relationships and you build leadership skills and confidence if you are a new manager. So that's something that if I were to decide, I was to lead a team, I definitely would read that book. But I think I'm going to read it anyway because I like Brene Brown, and I can definitely see the value that she provides in a lot of different levels. So there's lots of different writings or authors when you're on your growth cycle, right? When you're on your growth path. So everyone, you need to, I can't say everyone, I'm just saying, in order for you to get better at interviewing, you have to think critically. That is a lost skill. You have to be able to think critically. And you're not only interviewing, you're interviewing the interviewer. So when they ask you, do you have questions? Absolutely say, yes, I have questions. These are my questions. Sometimes ask them, challenging ones. That's not the usual, like, tell me about the culture. who gives a fuck about culture? I mean, we do, we like culture, but you want to ask, like saying, hey, is this company profitable? What is one thing that you would change about this company? What is one thing that you would change about some of the experiences that you have been having? So definitely get in there, get some challenging questions. So yeah, so that's kind of quick and dirty. Like I like to do. I don't like to get too involved because hello, I have to do this every day for this month, and I have to save my sanity because I have interviews this week. Yay me. And I want to be mentally prepped for that, and I have to have a good night's sleep, and I need to be able to edit this video and do it all within, you know, a certain amount of time. All right, I will love you, and thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, I'm Lauren Claude. Look at my baby. And we're just, you know, trying to make it through. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.